Welcome, everybody, to Deep Rocks Podcast. I'm here with Kevin Etheridge, my co-host for the night. The other co-host, Austin, couldn't be with us tonight, but he's going to be filling in a little bit with his own little segments on everything that we talk about. So, obviously, we're going to start off real quick, and we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. The Denver Broncos beat the Chargers in kind of a harrowing fashion with a basically, we blocked we iced their kicker, and then blocked their field goal attempt for them to basically, bring it to overtime. So it was kind of a crazy fourth quarter for us. We shouldn't have been in that position. We had a 24-7 lead going into that. But how'd you feel about that, Kevin?
Well, first off, it was a bit of a adjustment for me because it's the first Monday night of the season, so they got the two Monday night games, which I've never been a fan of, especially the late game. It doesn't even feel like a real game. It starts at 10:30 on the East Coast, so I'm up till 2 o'clock. Now,
Easy.
listen, I can bang down a couple extra ounces of coffee the next day and get moving, but I'd rather not be up till 2 o'clock watching a football game. But it's our job, right?
Yeah.
What can we do? And then the other thing, I wasn't prepared for it, but the announcing team, you got a female in the booth doing the play-by-play, and Rex Ryan. And it felt like a Division III college game or something. It never felt like a legitimate NFL game. And I'm okay with the female doing the play-by-play. I think I'd put my foot down if the female was doing the color, because the color is the expert, right? You need an ex-ball player, an ex-coach. But play-by-play, let's put it this way. It's just a bit of an adjustment. I've been watching football now on TV because of my advanced age for well over 40 years, and it's the first time, right? So it's a bit of a system shock. But she put some energy into it. I don't think she didn't do. I thought she did okay, quite frankly. Rex Ryan, I thought was kind of interesting. It felt like a guy you'd have over, to your place, sitting on a sofa drinking beer, just making comments.
It's basically what it was.
Yeah, and I'm sure he wasn't thrilled with it, right? I'm sure he would rather have had, Al Michaels in there. But nonetheless, it was a victory, and so you got to feel good about that. And so, what were your key takeaways from the game?
Well, how about that sideline reporter that was trying to do the background on Vance Joseph? I think it went viral because of how awkward he was.
I think I may have missed that.
You missed that? Yeah, I was at the bar watching it, and I remember just like this guy. It was his first day as an ESPN sideline reporter, and man, he just sounded awkward. I remember turning to the person next to me. I was like, what's wrong with him? Is he retarded? Like, I mean, did he have a stroke on the sidelines? Just thinking, I was like, that sounded weird. Come to find out, I went on the internet when I was at work the next day, and that guy's video had gone viral for how terrible he was.
So he was the sideline reporter interviewing Vance Joseph?
Well, he said I had talked to Vance Joseph, and he was kind of giving him like, over the end of the quarter, I talked to Vance Joseph, and he was kind of telling me about his background and all that stuff, and that's how it should have sounded. But the way it came out of his mouth, you just have to watch the clip. Just put in ESPN reporter Broncos game. It'll be the first thing that comes up.
Wow, man, I thought I did some preparation for this podcast. Obviously not enough. I will look that up.
It's heartbreaking. It's so pathetic. You're like, because the guy comes back and says like the day after he posts like a picture, a video on YouTube, and he's like, I just hope I get a second chance.
Well, knowing ESPN, he probably will. I mean, it's become quite comical over there, but we'll stay out of politics, okay?
We'll stay out of politics.
Yeah. So, we'll talk to me about the game. Let's get on the field. We've been talking about the announcers, and I started it. So, what were your takeaways from the game? What'd you like? What didn't you like?
What I liked was finally the tight ends showed up.
Big time.
So the tight ends showed up. I thought Trevor Siemian looked damn near perfect for.
I was very happy. I agree. Very
much
happy
of the
with him.
game, and he's playing. And he's playing Hayward and the other guy, I forget the other guy's name. I'm saying they probably have the third best corners in the league. The Chargers. They're
They
they're
do,
not a
yeah.
they're not a defense to sleep on. I mean, so I was really impressed with him. I was really impressed with his scrambling ability, where he he shook the jockstrap right out of Joey Bosa's undercarriage on that little run where he juked him
Right.
out. Yeah.
Yep.
Like the running game, it was balanced. CJ looked good. Jamal Charles looked good, and then now we found out that Devontae Booker's on his way to coming back. So I don't know what it's a crowded backfield, but CJ looked really good. Uh, wish I wish Sanders would have had that touchdown. That'd have been awesome looking.
Yeah, it's like maybe an inch and a half away from a TD pass. Good pass, good attempt. It just didn't work. I mean, good
Right.
attempt to grab the ball. He had to stretch it a little bit. I mean, the ball was probably overthrown just by a hair, but yeah, that was close.
Yeah, but you make that catch. Yeah, I mean you have to make that. That's Antonio Brown makes that catch.
Well, listen, call me an Emmanuel Sanders apologist, and feel free to. But that was a tough grab. He laid out,
It
and
was a tough grab.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, and defense looked good. Shelby Harris, I mean, good good pickup right there. I mean, just a kind of a plug and play guy right there, but he looked good. He's the one who blocked the punt, got a sack, or blocked the field goal. He got a sack. Offensive line didn't look as terrible as I thought they were. I mean, he was still moving. You had to scramble a lot, but I mean, compared to last year, we can only go up, literally.
yep.
So I thought it was an overall balanced game. What do you think about it, honestly?
Well, I'll give you some of the highlights. Shaq Barrett. Okay, Shaq
Yes.
Barrett was replacing effectively Shane Ray. I think Shane Ray's our starter, undeniably.
Yeah.
Shane Ray's going to be out, as we all know, until the eighth week of the season. So
Yeah.
Barrett really needs to step up. The guy played a phenomenal game. He was almost unblockable.
He was.
And he scored out incredibly high on like Pro Focus that does this, and he actually graded almost as high as Von Miller. He had a sack. So very happy with Shaq. Von Miller, of course, played his normal All-Pro, Hall of Fame game. He didn't get a sack, but he was constantly in the face of the quarterback, and I think he actually played well on the run. Trevor Siemian, you mentioned him. Gosh, he got lucky in the first quarter. He almost had a pick six, but I love the guy's mentality. I mean, he bounced right back from it. I mean, I think, that's what really separates the really good NFL quarterbacks from the also-rans. The guys who can throw a pick or make a bad play, but then forget about it and just get up and get ready for the next play. And he clearly shows that resolve and that resiliency. But I thought he played a near-perfect game, and our pass rush was not good. Now, San Diego's got some. Sorry, San Diego. That's the first time. You got to find me every time I say San Diego. But the Chargers, how about L.A. Chargers? They've got great edge rushers, and I'll get into what I didn't like about this game in a minute. But Trevor stood tall. He delivered just, under pressure. And when he was not being pressured, he was almost perfect. So if we can tighten up that pass protection, I think Trevor's going to have a very, very good year. And then the tight ends you mentioned, I mean, I think we've got three tight ends, Virgil Green, Jeff Howerman, and A.J. Derby. These guys are like interchangeable. They're all showing really good pass catching ability. We had, I think, 96 passing yards to the tight ends. All three of them got involved. That is a good sign. The final thing I would say, look, no-fly zone defense continued to look great. I mean, through three quarters, these guys were lighting it up. I mean, they were every bit as good as I've ever seen the defense play against a good San Diego, there I go again, Chargers offense. But
LA.
by the way, it'll be at least 10 years before I stop saying San Diego. I'm just going to warn podcast listeners. But
I
anyway,
still say it too.
I know that's going to be a tough habit. They've only been playing in San Diego since the 60s. But and then the final thing I would say was just the overall look and feel of the offense. It started to look like a real NFL offense. We have not seen the Broncos play that kind of offense in a couple of years, right? So
not since 2014.
Yeah, since Manning retired, I really like the direction.
No, but even before Manning retired, that last year, the year that we won the Super Bowl, that wasn't an offense.
No, you're exactly right. Yeah, it's been bad for 2 years, even with Manning. But we showed signs of life. That looked like an offense that can score some points.
He looked like a quarterback because they're always going to say the incumbent because he wasn't drafted high.
Right.
The incumbent starter, but everybody just kind of throws him to the wayside. I'm like, dude, he's pretty talented. I mean, yeah, we bitch and moan about him because he's essentially a second year rookie. I mean, he was a rookie last year, even though he wasn't really a rookie, but he never started a game. I mean, for a 7th round pick, what's he getting paid? Like 700. I think Brock Osweiler's honestly getting more money than him right now,
sure.
Which shouldn't happen.
But he just looks so cool under pressure. He looks command of the offense. He's just a good, steady hand.
That's what Von Miller said.
He had very composed out there.
Yeah, that's what Von Miller said. He had like that little Peyton in him.
Yeah,
like just chill. Like that's like Matt Ryan, Matty Ice. Just chill.
But when he drops back in the pocket, just watching him, I feel confident.
Yeah,
I feel good things are going to happen. If I feel that just sitting at home watching it, you got to believe the players on the offense feel the same way.
Oh, exactly. He does throw a pretty ball too.
Yeah, he's got a strong arm, and some of those balls were just like slingshots coming out. He doesn't get credit for the strength of his arm.
No, he doesn't. Especially that one he threw to how was it, or it was Jeff Hireman? Like he fed it in there. I was like, "Woo, you're getting ballsy on that one, Simeon." That was he threaded through like 3 defenders and got it right to Howerman. And I was like,
yeah. And by the way, can I give a shout out to the Australian defensive lineman we have, number 99,
Adam Gottis.
Gottis played lights out.
He did.
And I think he's probably a big reason why our run defense looks so much better than last year. And he is going to make us forget about Jared Crick. Like I've already forgotten him. Already. And he's facing back surgery. I feel bad for the guy. He's probably going to miss the whole year or a good part of it with back surgery. But you got to feel good with Gotts' big step change from what we saw last year.
Oh, definitely. And Gotts has played the entire preseason. Remember, he was out there on the 4th game of the preseason in the 4th quarter.
Yep.
That guy's going to end up, if we go to the playoffs, that guy's going to play 20-some games.
Hey, Bobby, can I just make a comment about freezing the kicker?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how you feel about this, and this is probably something we've never talked about on a podcast, but it worked to our benefit, right? You had the Broncos. Vance Joseph was just standing right beside the referee, like his hands were ready to call the timeout. He was just watching the clock.
Oh yeah.
And at the last second, boom, he calls the timeout, and of course he calls it at a point where the kicker's already in motion, so he kicks it. And it's good. Yep. But, oh, no, it doesn't count because there was a timeout. Now, that worked to the Broncos' advantage, clearly.
We would have gone into overtime.
But I got to tell you, I don't like that. I don't like that ability to call a timeout in that situation. It just seems, I don't know, it seems sort of,
Cheating.
I don't know if it's cheap. I can't articulate why it bothers me. But, if you're watching the game and boom, hey, team won, field goal, no, didn't count. It seems like you're manipulating the outcome too much. I don't want somebody on the sideline, even a head coach, to be able to
Right.
manipulate what's happening on the field to that degree. I don't like that rule. I don't. I think it's going to go away.
I mean, that's what a lot. That's what NFL purists say. Like probably like you and me. It's like, I mean, you know who mastered that, right? You know who it was like the first coach to like
Shanahan, right?
Shanahan. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was his deal. That was like his incubator. That was like his baby. He's the one who perfected it.
Here's the beauty of it. It's a good tactic. I'm not denying it's not a good tactic. Right? It seems to work. Semi
Really?
regularly. But here's the
Yeah.
deal: if you have a reputation like Shanahan had, and maybe Joseph is going to sort of earn the same reputation, I think all Joseph has to do now is walk over beside the official and sort of look like his body language indicates he's ready to call a timeout, and maybe he doesn't. Right, but I think the kicker, it may get up in the kicker's head because they think the timeout's coming. So you may be able to screw around with the kicker even when you don't call the timeout if you kind of pretend like you're going to call one, right?
It's like a game of chess. Yeah. It's like
I don't know, but even though it's quasi interesting and we clearly avoided an OT because of it, I think it's a little rinky dink. I'm not so sure I'm a big fan of it.
No, it is rinky dink. I've always said it. I mean, usually it worked out in our favor, so I didn't complain about it. But I mean, it's one of those rules, or kind of, well, not rule, kind of a. It's like a cheat. Yeah, you save that last time out. Ice the kicker. Because you saw. I mean, Shelby Harris came in, blocked the kick. Usually that doesn't happen. I mean,
No,
the way.
well, apparently the Broncos scouted this kicker. He's a rookie, that he has a tendency to kick the ball low over the, I guess the right offensive guard. Or they sort of figured out the trajectory of the ball.
That's
Um,
crazy.
but that's just how the NFL is, man. They just look for every advantage they can get. So they scouted the kicking style and the trajectory and the fact that it was low coming off that side. But yeah, Shelby Harris probably won the game for us because the Chargers had all the momentum.
Yeah, that fourth quarter was just like I was sitting there and I'm like, up 24 to up 24-7, and then it's like they scored 14 unanswered points in 70 seconds. I was like, here we go.
Here we go.
Here we
So,
go.
so defensive line we're getting thin, right? So Zach Kerr, I think, has already been is going to be out this week.
He's
Uh,
yeah, he's out. Brandon Langley is out.
Darian Stewart may be out.
He's questionable, but he may be out. That means Will Parks will be there. So you'll see
Yeah,
the two.
I'm worried.
You'll see the two second year tight end. Safeties out there,
I know.
and
Got a
that's
big spot for them. But, and of course, we talked earlier about Crick being done probably for the year. Back surgery is pretty scary, during the season. But we did get this guy from Seattle. He's 31 years old. He was drafted by the Browns in 2008.
he played a
Played
couple. Yeah,
Yeah, 2 seasons in Seattle. He started every game the last two seasons in Seattle. He was a final cut. I think he was a salary cap
well,
casualty.
what his deal was is when they got Richardson from the Jets,
That's right.
they tried to trade him, and nobody. I mean, it's like when I hate it when NFL teams say like, "Hey, we'll trade him, but if we can't trade him, we'll cut him." Why would a team trade if they know that they could pick him up on the waiver wire, basically?
But you're competing against 32 teams.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But there might be an asset you don't want to really actually give up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, he started 2 seasons, started all the games. He literally, if they didn't pull that trade for the Javon Curtis Richardson trade, he'd still be on Seattle. So I think he's an upgrade over Jared Crick.
I do too. 6'3", 330 pounds, quick feet. I think apparently very good against the run. So
That's what we need. I don't even care about pass rush. Stop the run.
yeah, me too. So
Just
I don't know
stop the run.
why would he not be ready this week? Wouldn't you think they'd dress him?
Mm, depend. Yeah, I would. They might dress him. I don't know. It's
I think they need the depth there. We'll see, but I mean he's been playing football right up until a week ago. I guess he was cut a week or two ago, so he's in
yeah.
football shape.
Yeah. I mean, it's defensive line is defensive line. I mean, hey, just stop the ball. Stop the guy with the ball.
Yeah, I mean, don't even give him
And
a playbook. Just say, listen,
yeah,
just get out there and tackle some people, please.
yeah. And then we'll get you sped up on the playbook next week. But dude, we need you. Like,
So
week.
I
It's so
really
sad that week 2 we're like plug and play and defensive lineman.
well I
Oh
know, and
man,
we got Ron Leary is going to be out.
concussion. He's questionable. We need him. He's
He,
basically our best offensive lineman.
I know. I tell you what, Elway, we've sung his praises, and I'm the leader in the clubhouse for singing his praises. But man, he has struggled to build an offensive line, hasn't he? And then the guy that we brought in from Oakland, I think Oakland's laughing.
What are you talking
Watson.
about? Yeah, Watson, Minalik Watson.
Yeah, I mean he got torched and really bad. Now he was playing a great defensive end. I mean for sure, but man, oh man, that guy looked a lot like a liability. We cannot find. We need to find a right tackle somewhere.
Right. They need to stop. They need to stop getting offensive linemen from our division.
That's true.
I mean,
We've
look
been
at
burned.
Donald. Look at Donald Stevenson. That guy.
And Malik Watson, back to back Chiefs and the Raiders, just screwed us.
Oh, Chiefs. I mean, I give Minalik a little bit more. Well, we've only seen him for one game, but that Donald Stevenson. I mean, talking about infiltrate and destroy.
Infiltrate and destroy. He's a double spy. I think he's still getting checks from the Chiefs.
Oh, he's definitely getting checks from the Chiefs. There's no way that you're on an NFL roster. I mean, that guy D3 would be a third team guy. I don't know how.
I
I mean, I would have kept Russell Okung instead of that guy. And that's
Yeah,
saying a
I don't
lot.
know. Listen. I think we have more talent and more size than we had last year, and this is only the first game. And the run blocking looked at least average. It looked pretty good out there. We had some. They were creating some holes. But I want to see Trevor. I don't want to see Trevor Siemian get hit like he did.
No, and yeah, because he got hit a couple times. And yeah, if you have Ronald Leary out, that's gonna become a problem because there's nobody out there. I mean, you could trade somebody to get somebody, but who's trying to
Well,
do that?
we have Connor McGovern. I think he's the one who's penciled in.
Yeah, I think
Um,
he is too. I think he is
and
too.
he's a second-year player. I think we got him fourth, fifth round, whatever, out of Missouri. And yeah, I've read
Fifth
some
round.
pretty good things about him. So let's see. Maybe he acquits himself well. He's going to have to.
Yeah, I agree. I agree because we can't. The literally the parts of the defense and offense where you don't want to take the hits. That's where we've been taking hits.
Hey, by the way, we should probably get Austin's comments on the game, don't you think, Ian?
Yeah, I agree. Austin, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
Hey, thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Ian. I like the points you guys have been making so far. Made a lot of great points. I mean, there's not a whole lot that you guys have been saying that I disagree with. I mean, to start out, obviously, great win, number one. I thought Trevor Siemian, like you guys have stated, I thought Trevor Siemian looked like a star, like in the making. Um, he did have that bad, like you guys are talking about. He had that bad, what should have been pick six. Jason Verrett, I think it was, who dropped that one. Um, and the other pick was kind of fluky. I thought it was pass interference because Benny Fowler was borderline getting tackled to the ground, and the fact that he got kicked up twice by feet. I mean, that's not on on Trevor Simeon. Though I think the best decision would have been maybe to throw it just into the dirt, just live to fight another down. But he's gonna learn that stuff with experience, and I mean you see how well he plays. I mean, we have to remember how good the San Diego, wow, just like doing the same thing you guys did. This LA Chargers defense is. I mean, they have two Pro Bowl caliber cornerbacks that are healthy. They have Joey Bosa and Mark Ingram, which is arguably the best pass rushing duo in the league, um, and playing behind a makeshift, or it's not technically a makeshift offensive line, but it feels that way a lot of the times because, like you guys are saying, it's just they're not holding up on pass protection very well, especially Watson not holding up pass protection. Ronald Leary coming out in that game with Connor McGovern taking his spot, and in the face of pressure, Simeon just doesn't ever look rattled. And right after that interception, he came back and he shook it off. The mental side of the game is the hardest part, I think. I mean, because you see a lot of guys who have world talent in terms of the physical abilities, the physical tools, but they can't put it together. So much of the quarterback position is in the mental between the ears, and he's got that. He's got it to spare. I mean, just unbelievable. And we can go back however many episodes we need to. I've been singing his praises since he won the starting job originally, and even the games that he's looked a little off, which he's had a few of them. I still think, man, he looks like we might have something special here. Um, and I still stand by that. He looks like something special. He made Joey Bosa look bad even running the ball, and he juked somebody else that same game. But thought that looked good. I thought the running game looked really good. That's I think I don't remember if you guys hit on that or not. Doesn't I don't think you did, but C.J. Anderson looked really good. C.J. Anderson looked healthy, and he looked not dominant. He didn't rush for 150 yards. I think it was 80 something yards, but just looked like it just controlled the game. Up until the momentum shifted in the fourth quarter when they got soft, or when they got what's the word? Seemed like they just took their foot off the gas in the fourth quarter. But they looked dominant up into that point, and C.J. Anderson was definitely a part of that. Even Jamal Charles, despite the fumble, he looked good. I mean, he looked decisive and whatnot. Even on the play that he did end up fumbling the ball. I mean, he's a veteran. He's not going to make that mistake too often. So I'm not worried about that fumbling or anything like that. He looked good too. Um, Demarius Thomas looked good. Emmanuel Sanders, he didn't have much. I think he only had about 25 yards, but he looked good, especially coming across on that second. I think it was second and 18. Got a first down on it. Came all the way across the field and up. Almost had that touchdown that you guys noted on. Was almost a perfect play, almost a perfect pass, almost a great catch. Um, and just, I mean, they just looked good all the way around. Offense and defense, and we have some injuries right now. Let's not forget. Obviously, like stated, Shane Ray's out right now. Jared Crick's out right now. Um, and so with everything being said, I mean, I just thought the team looked good. I think there was some miscommunications with the safeties. Uh, both Will Parks and or Justin Simmons and Will Parks. I think there's still some communication needs to be worked out with Talib and Harris. I know the there was that big bomb of a play over the top to Travis Benjamin for the touchdown that got behind him, and also even the short pass play to Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen. Chris Harris thought he had inside safety help on that, and obviously it wasn't there. And I think that's just going to take playing together. They'll get that communication down. I really think they will. They have talent for sure, and the veteran guys with Harris and even with Harris and Talib and even Roby to a certain extent. I think they have guys that are going to coach him up and help him get to that point pretty well. Um, so I really like where they're at and and how they might turn into something special as well. Those safeties. So obviously, I still wish we had T.J. Ward, but I think these guys, it was never a doubt of the talent that we had with those guys. It was just like, stick with TJ Ward since he's done so well so far. But I thought all around looked good. I do like that signing. The guy from Seattle, I can't even think of his name right now. I do like that signing. In terms of icing the kicker, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know if I like it or not. I'm kind of indifferent about it. I mean, obviously I love it when it goes our way and I hate it if it doesn't. Um, I'm kind of indifferent about it. Maybe it does. I think I could see the argument both ways. I don't really care if they continue allowing it or not. I think is kind of where I'm at, honestly. Um, but it worked out for us this time in a great way. Shelby Harris, I mean, man, what a story he's had. Signed to a futures contract and then practice squad and all this stuff. Finally makes the active roster, primarily due to injuries, and makes it happen with a sack and that blocked field goal. It's kind of crazy how his path has gone already in just one game in the season. So, um, yeah, I can't say enough about Trevor Siemian and how he looked. I mean, he just looks like he's gonna be star. I mean, and the offensive line, we talked about them not holding up in pass protection. Their run blocking looked much better than last year. And again, we have to think about how good this defense is. In terms of their pass rushing. I mean, the fact that the offensive line wasn't holding up well against Joey Bosa and Mark Ingram, that's not. I mean, those are elite pass rushers. So I think that's that. I mean, it's a good first test, and I think they're gonna improve from there. Because those pass rushers are so good at what they do, and even in the face of pressure, Trevor Siemian, especially that one, I don't know if you guys remember in the fourth quarter, um, what's his name? Virgil Green. Virgil Green. It was a seam route, play action pass, and I'm telling you what, Trevor Siemian was borderline already getting taken down. Not quite, but he was, I mean, being touched, I think, by two San Diego Chargers, and he just fired a missile. Virgil Green turned around, reached over the guy to grab it. It was just a great play, and just a show of I think what this offense can do and what they can be capable of. They look like they're going to be a good offense. Um, at least comparatively to what we've had the last year or two. So I'm excited, but I'm going to turn back to you guys. I've been talking for quite a while now, but I'm going to turn back to you guys. I know you were talking about, right before you switched to me, how we're taking hits both on offense and defense, just in the worst parts of the field and whatnot, worst situations, and I think you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, we can't have the way our defensive line, our offensive line, have been getting hit. That's going to become a problem. I mean, real bad because we're only in week two. We're not even in week 2 yet,
Yep.
technically. And
Well,
then
listen. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
we got a test. We have a test. This
Cowboy.
this,
Did you
this
see the
Sunday at 4:25.
I'm assuming you watched some or all of the Cowboys-Giants game?
Yeah, I watched the whole game.
Cowboys looked stout, didn't they? I mean, seriously. Big,
It's
strong. I mean, they look like they are a Super Bowl contender. That's what I saw.
it's either they looked that strong or the Giants were that weak without Odell Beckham.
I would lean towards Dallas being that strong.
It was kind of sad that when I watched that game, Brandon Marshall's done.
Yeah, he was invisible, wasn't he?
He's done. And I'm an outspoken Brandon Marshall fan. Broncos. He's done. It's over.
Yeah, age catches up with everyone. It does,
Yeah.
and that's just you really hate to see it happen to your favorite players. But
This is 11th year. 11th year.
Yeah, yep. And he's in a skill position. You can get away with it, obviously,
A little bit
sometimes on
longer.
the interior line. But But yeah, I was surprised. He didn't. I mean, he should have been the number one target. He didn't have any catches, right? Not a single one.
Not that I saw. I didn't see any. Yeah, I don't even know if they threw to a wide receiver in that game. Sam Shepard, he didn't catch anything. I was like, man, they're Evan Ingram, the new tight end. He didn't catch. That was, dude.
I tell you
Giants
what.
look bad.
Yeah, Giants looked horrible. That was just like watching paint dry their offense. But the Broncos, especially with the injuries we already have. I mean, I hate to make excuses, but we're clearly not going to be at full strength. We're at home. That's huge. But I got to
Huge.
tell you, I'd be very surprised if we can beat that Cowboys team. I don't think
No,
it's going to happen. Now,
no, here,
if we play them close, I'll be delighted. But I'm not predicting a victory.
here's a statistic that not many people might know. So the Broncos since 2015 were 4 out of 5 wins when we are at home and the underdogs.
That's
And
a good
we
stat.
and we're underdogs by 2 points. They got the Cowboys -2. So hopefully that works in our favor.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, we just got to stop. I mean, we're not worried about Dak Prescott. We're not worried about Des Bryant. Terrence Williams, I think he's out. So Roby's going to have whoever their 4th-string wide receiver is. They got Jason Witten, and that was another thing that I was happy about with the Broncos defense in this last game is which was a horrid problem last year, is how we handled the opposing team's tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
Would they have they have one catch? I think what Gates had like one catch, maybe. Hunter Henry never even showed up.
Well,
So
is your point is that we didn't play particularly well last year against the tight ends?
no. Remember, Hunter Henry killed us.
Well, that's the main reason Simmons is playing safety this year instead of T.J. Ward.
Yeah, because he's a coverage safety, not a hard hitter.
Right.
Yeah, so if we can get rid of Witten, obviously he's going to get a couple catches. He's been doing it. He's the all-time leader in receiving yards for the Cowboys as of last week. Congrats to that guy. We just really, really have to contain Ezekiel Elliott.
Agreed. And that's where we're going to need Adam Gotsis to play great. He's got to be the guy that's going to really help with Elliott. Derek Wolfe, he's coming back from the ankle, but he looked reasonably healthy
He looked
against the
decent.
Chargers.
Yeah.
Bradley Roby and Aqib Talib are going to have to really step up. I'm guessing Talib's going to be the main guy on Des Bryant. I like our chances there. Talib's going to be tough.
Yeah, because he's a tall guy. He's almost the same size as Des Bryant.
I know. I don't see Des Bryant having a great game. Where we could get exposed is if we've got the 2 rookie or the 2 second-year safeties, and we're losing Stewart. I mean, if Stewart doesn't play, then that's a big deal. That could be a potential very big deal for us. He's a leader back there. But and then of course I think Trevor Siemian, if he can find his two big play guys, DT and Sanders, then he's going to need to get better pass protection. But he's going to have to play another big game and probably go for more yards than he did last week. I also liked our running back combo. Anderson and Charles.
Mm-hmm.
They looked very good. And Charles again played. It looked to be healthy. From his two knee surgeries. So what a great guy to bring in off the bench.
No, I think he looked real good, honestly.
Yep. All he did was fumble.
Well, yeah, but so did Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, that's true. By the way, can we hate him? I mean, we have to hate him. We're required to hate the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
But holy cow, I mean, did that look like the best team in like the last 30 years? They were phenomenal against the Patriots.
Man, I watched that game with a Patriots fan, and I like looked at her. I'm like, dude, at at Foxborough, man.
I know.
Wow, wow, dude. Oh, yeah, and that blown coverage to that Tariq Hill. I mean, it was like the 70-yard pass, and like I was like, you know how many because I was throwing statistics at her, and I was like, hey, you know how many 70-yard passes Alex Smith had last year? She's like, how many? I was like, one. He's got two this game.
Well, and
Oh,
Alex Smith is probably a classic example of fool's gold, right? The guy looked like Tom Brady, you know, and so I
and
guarantee there's
Brady
a ton.
Brady looked like Alex Smith.
Well, right. There's a lot of people going to jump on Alex Smith in the fantasy football leagues, I guarantee, because of that game. But I've got a
Oh yeah.
14-year track record. The guy has always been fantasy poison.
Oh,
But
he is.
man,
He
he
is.
looked
Man, he
good against
lit
the
it up.
Patriots. He did.
He was he the number? Yeah, he was the number one quarterback last year in this last week in fantasy. It was like it was him, Sam Bradford, and then I think Trevor Simeon.
By the way, we should probably hear from Austin. There's no doubt he has some commentary on the Dallas game, right? So, Austin, what do you have for us?
Yeah, well, thank you. Let me just start off with yeah, it's gonna be looking pretty grim if Darian Stewart's not playing that game. Um, reason being Jason Witten. You know, like Ian was saying. I mean, that dude has been doing it forever. And safeties typically gonna be the people who would be covering Darian Stewart. And we like what we saw in Justin Simmons, and that's great. But can he do it against some of the greatest? I mean, who's still performing at that level? So number one, number two, I think I'm with you, Kevin. That I would be at least a little bit surprised if Denver won this game. I don't think I'm as grim about it as you are. I don't think I'm as like negative about it as you are. Not negative, but I don't think I'm as doubtful as you are. I do think the Broncos have a good team and a good chance, especially in Mile High. But I think if I were to put my money on something, I'd probably say Cowboys win. Close game, probably a low scoring game because um, I mean Denver's defense is only going to give up but so much. Um, interior line's got to hold up against Ezekiel Elliott. Obviously, his suspension. Who knows what you feel about that? Dude beats his girlfriends. Um, anyways, we got to contain him. We have to contain him. If we contain him, I think uh, we win this game. But because of our injuries in the interior line, I think that's why I would lean against Dallas winning this game. Um, But yeah, they looked good, but at the same time, I think it was more inadequacy. I think it was a lot of inadequacy about the Giants. I know Brandon Marshall did end up having one catch. It was like with a few seconds left in the fourth quarter, like just like 27 seconds left in the fourth quarter. He had like a 5 or 6 yard catch, and that was it. I don't know if he's done yet. I think he's somebody who at this stage of his career would have to have the Odell Beckham playing opposite of him. He probably had all the attention from the cornerbacks in this game, but that's neither here nor there. I think the Dallas game it's going to be a really really good game, but not super hopeful that we win that game. But I do definitely feel like we have a chance if the interior of the defensive line holds up and Trevor Simeon has a decent game.
Yep, always insightful comments from Austin, right, Ian?
Always bring back Champ Bailey.
But he's kind of he's like the Champ Bailey of our podcast.
He is. He is. He's old school.
He's a young guy,
Uh,
but he's old school.
yeah, exactly. Well, Bailey ain't young anymore.
He's not. By the way, Bailey he's got to be the next Bronco in the Hall of Fame, right?
Of course.
And
They,
is he going to go in as a Bronco? He has to. He's not going to go in as a Redskin.
he was only with the Redskins for like 3 years.
What a great trade, right? That was
Yeah, it
another
was. Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah, yeah. Portis for Champ Bailey, straight up. It was a
Well,
straight up trade.
And we got a draft pick.
Yeah, we did get a draft pick. That's
And
right.
this is deep Broncos trivia. Who did we get with that draft pick?
I don't know.
Tatum Bell.
Oh, didn't you guys get a? You guys got one of the. He got his glove one time at a game, right?
I was at a Broncos home game with your dad and my uncle, and was it just two of us? Might have just been right there. No, I think it was just your dad and I. And I'm pretty sure, although Kurt may have been there, I'm getting foggy. I've seen so many games out there. But yeah, it was like 05, 06 when Tatum Bell was there, and he was running off the field at the end of warm-ups. And our seats were right down on like the first or second row, right above the entrance to the dressing room. And Bell just threw a glove up, and it practically hit me in the chest.
That was a preseason game, right?
No, it was a regular season game. As a matter of fact, they were playing the Eagles.
Oh, okay.
We beat them bad, and Tatum Bell had like a 90-yard touchdown run. I mean, long touchdown run. Terrell Owens also torched us for like an 80-yard touchdown catch, but we beat him handily. I'm guessing we beat him by 3 touchdowns. Pretty sure it was I can tell I can tell when it was.
07, right? You think?
No,
07?
Actually, I think it was 08 now.
08? Was it 08?
No. Sorry, I'm getting completely screwed up now. It was right after a presidential election. A year, I think it was 05. But it was anyway. My memory's.
No, that'd have been presidential election. That'd have been 08.
Yeah, but it was. Yeah, I think it was the re-election of Bush. It was shortly 04 or 05. But anyway,
okay.
This is horrible pod right now. But
Yeah.
but that glove I gave to your dad. And I said, get it to Austin. And at the time, Austin was still a super young kid, right? He was probably 13 years old. And
yeah.
But it was a good memory. But yeah, we did get Bell, and Bell had his moments with us. He had some good games. And of course, Champ Bailey. What can you say? The guy had a Hall of Fame career with us. So what a great trade that was. Although Portis had some decent years with the Redskins, but
that's the reason why we got him. But he also was the guy that basically turned Chris Harris Jr. into what he is.
Yeah, that's a good point. Very good point.
That Chris Harris learned right directly behind Champ Bailey.
By the way, we should ask Austin if he still has that Tatum Bell glove. Austin?
Yeah, I remember. I remember when I got that glove, and Dad gave that to me, and and I knew you guys were at that game, and it was like so exciting, and I became like a huge fan of Tatum Bell because I really want him to do well. Being at a young age and having his glove, I used to watch all the games from that point on with the glove, either on the coffee table or sometimes I'd put it on, whatever the case is. It was just really cool to have, and I remember the last game that I watched with that glove that I had it. I do still have the glove. I believe it's in Virginia because that's the last game I watched was in Virginia with that glove, and I believe Ian, you might actually be able to go grab it. It's I believe it's at mom's house still. So every time I'm back there, I just completely space on going over there and getting it and finding it over there. But I remember it was in Virginia the last time that I actually had it while I was watching a game. So yeah, I do still have it, but I think that's where it's at, is over at mom's house. So.
All right. Hey, that was good to hear from Austin about that glove. Didn't realize that he still had it all these years.
Yeah, I thought he would have sold it for drugs by now.
All right, so I had to look it up. The game was October 30th, 2005. The Broncos beat the Eagles 49-21. The
Okay, I remember.
Broncos went 6-2 with this victory. The Eagles fell to 4-3. Um, let me see here. Yeah, we lit up the Eagles. Jake Plummer was our quarterback. He was
Yep.
22 for 30, 35, 309 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Probably one of his best games with the Broncos. I was there with your dad. How about it? Donovan McNabb uh, was quarterback for the Eagles. And Broncos running game was, sorry, real quick here. We have,
Jake Plummer, one of the most underrated quarterbacks to ever play the game.
yeah, yeah,
Underrated.
likable guy. Yep. Anyway, enough stats there. I can't find what I'm looking for. But that was the game. It was October 30th, 2005, because I had a feeling our listeners wanted to know that.
I feel like they did. If they
So,
didn't know.
any final thoughts, Ian?
Final thoughts. What do you think the outcome of this game is going to be? Like win loss.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I know it's
I'm afraid
pretty
even. All
brutal.
right. As much. Listen, if we lose this game, I'm okay with it because I think
We
we've
play
got a
the
really good.
Bills
Yeah,
the week
listen,
after.
right. And but we're going to be playing one of the best teams in the NFL. We're not going to be at full strength, and it's still early for us with the new coaching staff. Um, but I think we're going to lose, sadly, um, and particularly with Stewart being out. I had a funny feeling he's not going to play. Um,
Hmm.
and that's a big setback. But anyway, if I had final score, I'm thinking we're going to lose 21-17. I'll say.
I say that we win because we're at home. Now, if we're playing in Dallas, might be a different situation. Playing at home, I think we win 21-14.
We beat Dallas at home this weekend. Mark my words, we're a playoff team. That
Oh
would be
yeah.
huge.
You got to remember they don't have their secondary is horrid.
Is it really?
Yeah, yeah, their defense stinks. I mean, don't go by what you saw against the New York Giants. They played bad. The Giants did. Yeah.
So you don't think they're as good as I'm giving them credit for?
No. They're off their running game when they're playing when the Cowboys are playing teams that have bad run defenses, they're good. When they play teams that have bad, I mean, look, ever since Dak Prescott came into the league, Des Bryant's been basically nothing.
Um,
Yeah,
Ian,
nothing.
can I remind you that you're talking about a Dallas Cowboys team that went 13-3 last year.
Yeah, running game.
13-3, and they might be better this year. Uh, Austin, let's get Austin's prediction on this game.
Oh goodness. I hate doing these predictions, especially when I'm not feeling super confident about the game. And unfortunately, I'm not. Like I said earlier, if I were to take a bet, if I was putting money on it, I'd put money on the Cowboys. And I will take the Cowboys in terms of my prediction. But again, I think this is kind of loose because Denver's at home and they have such a great secondary. Their offense is starting to come alive. But like you said, they were 13-3 last year and could be better this year. So I'm gonna say 20 20 to 16 uh Dallas. And the reason I think that is I think Denver's probably gonna have quite a few field goals in this game. Um it's gonna be kind of a I mean semi low scoring game. So Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully the Broncos come out of there with a win, and I think that's a very realistic possibility. But if I were putting money on it, like I said, I'd go Cowboys on it. So
Yeah, you know you can't. Austin's tough to. Is unpredictable. I want to say you never know which way he's going to go there, so a little bit surprising.
It is. It is a little bit surprising. You know, I think he chose the Cowboys. I think he said he was rooting for the Cowboys.
Well, yeah, that's shocking. You know,
And he totally just switched it up on us, just out of nowhere. Just said, you know what? I'm tired of this garbage. I don't want to be part of this podcast anymore. I'm a Dax Prescott believer.
well, you know, poor Austin. You know, he's out there on the West Coast, and sometimes I
Yeah.
think the thin air gets to him. But
Yeah,
all
lack
right,
of
well,
air.
listen, Ian, why don't you bring us home here? Let's wrap this up.
All right, so D Bronx podcast listeners, pray for a win. Dax Prescott, we're gonna beat him just like he does his women.
Oh man.
Yeah, he should not be in the league for that. He should not be in the league for that. So, like I said, I think we're going to win. Kevin thinks we're going to lose. It's 50-50 playing at home. I think we're good. We win that game, we're definitely a contender. But you also have to look at the rest of the teams in the division. Chiefs probably going to win. Raiders probably going to win. LA probably going to win. Got the hardest division in the league. So, yeah, keep fingers crossed. Keep fingers crossed for no more injuries because we can't take any more injuries on this team. Hope Trevor Siemian plays. Same game he played this last week. Hopefully we can get Sanders more in the game. Hopefully we can get Demaryius Thomas more than 66 yards. Keep playing the way we are with the tight ends because they were looking good. We get Jake Butt probably in like week 9, so that's the guy we drafted. But after that, I think we're good to go for Sunday at 4:25 against the Dallas Cowboys. What do you think?
I think we're ready to go, and we might even have our franchise quarterback with Simeon. Is that possible?
I agree. It's possible.
Yeah, good start for him, and that gives me and should give all of our listeners a lot of hope for the future of the Broncos. So, well, thank you, Ian, and thank you, Austin, and thank you to all of our listeners, right? So go Broncos this weekend, and we'll catch you all next week.
Go Broncos. Austin will be back with us live and direct next week. So, keep fingers crossed we win this game. We go 2-0. Let's do this, guys. Deep Bronze Podcast, we're out.